Umbande, Umbande to all. Welcome to another Monday to our channel. This is the 6th week we are running this channel, and with this video concerning our cultural wheels, we will end a cycle of presentation of who we are and our channel, what it concerns, and what we'll do and show to you. So this cultural week for this Monday, presenting to you, we called it the third phase, the third side. So let's begin. Umbande to all. The third side, the third phase. Everyone is used playing the most common game worldwide, head or tails, with a coin. If you take a coin and watch it, you will recognize a head and the tails. They have the same diameter, the exact same diameter, so the same shape in geometry, but the space each side of the coin that occupies is different, with different carvings. So the game of head or tails, regardless of how fun it is and αποτελεσmatic when you must decide which movie you'll see, or choosing between two restaurants, or choosing the side of a football match in which area the match starts, or anything else that doesn't conflict with more serious matters. It imprisons you in one-dimensional thinking, heads or tails, right or wrong, white or black, and goes on. While modern societies, ethnicities, and large corporations struggle with this polymorphy, I recognize it myself and explain it as the complex polymorphia of the matter. So these carvings that each side of a coin has, at the same time these two sides make them opposite to others, but also unique and applied in the same diameter and space, occupying the same vital area, but they forget something crucial: diversity and inclusion. Of course, for many of you this has already been handled and solved, but let me keep going to understand. Stop being one-dimensional beings. Seeing one coin, and two-dimensional by recognizing and choosing one of the sides of the coin. Stop thinking in black or white. There is a third side, an option where all these conflicts with think tanks and armies of intellectual or actual armies of opposing parties, which occupy the two sides of the coin by their free will, let's suppose. I'm not sure, but that's another topic. So they supposed the heads or tails of an aspect of our life. It is time to tell you that it is more effortless living that way, and mind-free for me also, than to discover and apply the third side of the coin. So let's calculate. If you toss a coin, all the time it will fall down or in your hand and end in heads or tails, right? But to recognize an issue or the separation, like the head or tails, or deviation that has been deliberately passed to people, most people what will do? Look at a coin and only see two dimensions. The flat face of the heads and the flat face of the tails. So, to recognize the differences of each side of the coin, you observe it from up. As in the Greek language, we say Katanoo, meaning to see something from an up position, a higher position, looking down to, what my mind must resolve or understand. In one word in Greek, Katanoo, understand. But a coin is not a two-dimensional circle, it is a three-dimensional cylinder. So to find the third side of the coin, we must toss the coin up to another, upper, to another level, upper from the ground, upper from our hands. Try it, and then, and only then, as it happened to me, trying to pour some red wine into a dear friend, putting his glass on the top of my refrigerator, and while I was going to catch his glass and take it and offer it to him, I tossed a coin towards the top of the refrigerator. And what a surprise! It bounced in the top ground of the refrigerator and stood on its third face. What's the third face? This is the third face. Do you see it? What's the third face? The third side of the coin is? As we said before, most people look at a coin and only see two dimensions. The flat faces of either the tails or the heads, but in a coin that's not dimensional circle, there is a third face because it is a three-dimensional cylinder. It has an edge. It has the same diameter, this edge, as the other sides, but this side unites them, and we finally can escape from the one and two-dimensional way of thinking. We have a two-dimensional way of thinking and unite in an already carved and shaped path that already existed in front of our eyes, but we could not comprehend it because we always toss the coin down way. So the edge, as the unity, possesses the exact same diameter as the other side, yet it serves a completely different function. It is the boundary that unites and holds both faces together. Without the edge, the coin cannot exist. A path that was already in front of our eyes pre-existed, harmonious. You see the carvings in the edge of a coin? And as you can see, without any conflicts with the other sides, because it unites them. Only diversity and inclusion. To get it to stand, a coin, on its third face, on its third side, it takes a change in perspective, a bounce on an elevated surface. Mental effort required by modern corporations and societies. Escaping flat oppositional thinking requires lifting our minds to a higher level of awareness. And to move on, we will combine one, as I'm Aeonian, as I said, thalis of Miletus, that help us elevate our minds and evolve us in understanding that three non-straight line points define a sphere and a level. Three non-collinear, non-straight line points uniquely define a circle and a flat plane. So whether you live in the head area of the side of the coin, where all these multiple polymorphy carvings exist, or in the other side, the tails, wherever your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions exist, in which side you decide. So no matter which side you decide, the point that you will choose in each side with the point that your alter ego has in the other side, and the third point of the edge of the third face, the third side of the coin, creates a three non-collinear point system. The simplest way: take a coin and toss it upwards. It will form a sphere. The sphere is our ideas and society and world that we live in, and the level is the one that we must struggle. The level is the one that we must struggle, because believe it, it is too damn difficult to toss in an upper level a coin and stand on its third side, the uniting side, the uniting side, the already carved harmonious path side. Calculate how many times you must try to achieve it. That's the amount of the two-dimensional escape effort your mind has to take to see, understand, and make it part of your existence, what we mentioned till now. That's the effort society, people, corporations must take to understand and have results and outcome products in each aspect of our life that will be the embarking of our coexistence. So let's not forget that by definition to be human is to strive for higher levels of consciousness, moving away from base, reactive, black and white, animal instincts, and climbing toward harmony. The same meaning has the Greek word for human, and the word is anthropos, meaning push someone, something to upper, higher levels. Anthropos, from ano and throsko. Ano means up, throsko means push, one who looks upward or leaps up. Let's conclude. For the end, for this cultural will, the third phase, the third stage, we will unite all the above in one of our favorite artists. In a portrait, this artist created in 1954 a masterpiece called Crucifixion, Corpus Hypercubus, and mentioned by researchers and scientists concerning the fourth dimension. Portrays the Christ suspended on an unfolded four-dimensional hypercube or tesseract. Imagine, before we start, that the ancient people, that in ancient times, they crucified people as an act of punishment, instead of taking away their freedom as nowadays do. Imagine that in ancient times, these two-dimensional people of thinking were used to threaten others by signaling the symbol of the cross, threatening that I will cross you, as nowadays do the criminals, like this, in the throat, threatening you that they will cut your throat. Imagine how much time and effort took to be here today as three-dimensional humans away from this consciousness, and how people had to change and embark on new journeys of acknowledgement. Let's begin with the portrait of, as the world knows him, Dali. We will begin from the floor. It depicts the history of our civilization. When the human first met and understand the point, the first dimension, we can see it from up as we stare at the painting by the different spots, the colored squares. But then we evolved and wanted to contact with the other spots, the other points. So the white spot point with the black spot point, we wanted to connect, to contact, and we created the width from spot point A to point B. But evolving, we made barriers and evolved into two-dimensional thinking, creating also the length and squares, that now the spots were squares with different opposing colors, black and white, like the sides of the coin. But as the diversity emerges from each side of the coin and each block of different colors on the floor, you must know that black and white are both non-colors, and in the physical world are just the impressions of our mind, how we perceive it, because both colors literally are the combinations of all colors, both, with just one little difference, a side difference: diversity. The absence of light for the head, the black color, and on the other side the tails, the presence of the light for the white color. The same happens, but with a little difference each time we observe something. And in this particular example, the exact opposite color of the diversity that seems different in a two-dimensional system when we look in the painting that board, the chess board floor. A square blocked floor, white and black colored, is the elevation of the mind from the two-dimensional human thought and understanding to the discovery of height, the three-dimensional human that has stopped staring down to the chessboard floor, as it understands already that a square forms from length and width, and as you enter three-dimensional thinking, the human, you have the square cubic now, and now you realize that a cross is indeed a geometrical unfolded cube. The third phase of the coin that helped him to include diversity, inclusion, and diversity into a harmonious coexistence. Now, as a third dimensional awakened human, as we mentioned, the Greek words means ano and throsko for human. Looking up, he sees a symbol, and this symbol in this painting for others is Christ, but generally in this painting depicts a higher state of belief, knowledge, a higher state of knowledge or need to comprehend something higher and the need for action. This symbol, a death he had, a belief he had someone who had been killed on the cross, crucified. And as you can see in the picture, this symbol represents something higher than our knowledge and beliefs that resonates with the third dimensional consciousness of humans. To the next level of understanding, the fourth dimension. That's why Dali drew the symbol, the Christ crucified in a hypercube, in a tesseract. However, as we, the human, the floor, and our idea of where the crucified symbol stands creates also a three non-collinear, non-straight line point system, which is defined, as we said, what before? A sphere and a level. This symbol that already exists in his sphere of our imagination, at this level of understanding, does not look down to us, does not look down on us, the human in the picture. The symbol does not cross his eyes with the human in the picture, with us, with him, but to something we cannot perceive yet. Something besides the symbol exists, and he looks to something that already exists, but we cannot understand a fourth side maybe of the coin, of an even more harmonious pre-existed carved path, and what we must do. Maybe just what the symbol did, maybe just as he did, to die or to kill. We are talking metaphorically. He died says the one face of the coin. They killed him, says the other. We must struggle to reach the third face of the coin, the edge, the third side of the coin. All of us, we must struggle. We may understand width, length, moved on from chessboard floors to height, and call ourselves humans, living in a three-dimensional world. But we must merge our understanding, consciousness, beliefs, inclusion, and diversity. For this to happen, needs constant work and study. Needs constant work and study throughout the aeons repeatedly, with harmonious movements and actions to liberate our mind from the two-dimensional thinking, so we can reach the decisive toss of the coin, to stand upright on its uniting edge, and each toss from then on will always result in that unifying already carved path, and not heads or tails. And not heads or tails, and not black or white squared blocks, colored floors, that three-dimensional beings stand on, a world of rigid boundaries and constant conflict. Staring from a three-dimensional being world at ideals of fourth dimension, but alas, their mind is stuck in two-dimensional thinking. What a great portrait and picture, huh? And then, maybe only then, see what the crucified symbol is looking at. This was and is the third face, the third side of the coin. Of the coin, of the spiritual and mental awakening. When the awakened human looks up from the black and white tiles, they finally realize that diversity and inclusion are not problems to be solved by think tanks or armies. They are already woven into the very fabric of our multidimensional reality. It simply takes the constant mental effort, the chaotic bounce on the top of the refrigerator, to shift our perspective and see the edge that unites us all. Or, as my grandpa said, a teacher who taught and never kept his teachings. So, let's start from ABC. Diversity and inclusion with freedom, equal rights and unity of the third side for all. Ιδού η Ρόδος, κύριοι. Ιδού. From wherever, whenever, however you saw us, Umbande, Umbande, frater and soror throughout the globe. Umbande to all.